When your business flops, it's not just money on the line, it's your identity. Now, that kind of loss shakes your confidence and traps you in a spiral of doubt, chasing quick fixes or quitting too soon.
So smart founders, they break free with one mindset shift, a way to take back control and turn confusion into unstoppable clarity. I've watched it save businesses, founders, and even my own sanity more times than I can count.
Stay with us, because in this video, we're unlocking the exact mindset shift that ends that spiral and how you can start using it right now to take back control before it costs you everything. Let's talk about values, because they're the compass. They tell you what matters and what doesn't. And how do you use yours?
When things go sideways, and they often do,
Yeah.
I come back to my values. Mine are growth. Freedom's a really important one to me, and contribution.
Right.
Not every setback, it's hard. Some just bruise your ego,
Yeah.
but others, they shake something deeper. That's when I asked, did this touch something I actually care about? Viktor Frankl talked about this. He's a psychiatrist,
Right.
and he survived the Holocaust. That man lost everything, but what kept him going was meaning and purpose. He said people can survive almost any how
Right.
if they've got a strong enough why. So that's what I do. I hold the moment up against my values. If it hits one of my core three, I dig in. If not, I move on. No drama, just clarity.
I mean, for me, it's about freedom, creativity, and impact. If something threatens one of those, then it's worth my energy. If not, I just move on. And that clarity, it saves me from wasting time, emotion, and focus on things that actually just don't matter. So when something knocks you, pause and check.
Yeah.
Is this hitting a core value or just my ego?
Yeah.
And honestly, 9 times out of 10 for me, it's just my ego. Throw in some snacks and a nap, and suddenly the crisis doesn't feel quite so existential.
So when we're talking about values, I think it'd be useful if we provided some sort of tip. The tip that's really helped us again and again is actually stating what your values are. And I think what you need to do is know what those are and write them down.
Yeah, so just 3, not 20. You're not writing a manifesto.
Yeah, stick them somewhere you'll actually see them. So keep them in front of you on a piece of paper, on a sticky pad, so you can see them regularly. Because when the storm hits, and it will, those values, they're your anchor. You really need to have something to anchor you.
Yeah.
They help you decide what matters and separate it from what's just noise.
Yeah. And if you didn't see the first video in this short series about the neuroscience of resilience, go check it out. Links in the description.
So we talked about clarity because that gives you direction. So now let's look at what happens when things go wrong. Blame's a trap. It feels like you're doing something, but really you're just standing still. In fact, you're just going around in circles.
Yeah.
Martin Seligman, the guy who studied resilience, nailed it. The people who recover fastest don't sit around pointing fingers. They ask questions. And the key question is, what can I still influence? Can't control other people's timing or their reactions. But your next move, that's always yours.
Yeah. And this one, it hit hard for me actually, because I used to fall into that exact blame loop. When things didn't go to plan, my mind would race. The timing was wrong. People didn't respond the way I hoped. The tools weren't working the way I needed. And I felt like a failure. But none of that actually helped me move forward. Now I ask, what can I actually control? What's the very next thing that I can do? And I do it. Action is how I reset my momentum.
Yeah, that warrior mode kicks in, takes responsibility, takes control.
definitely, yeah. And a good example of it in practice, actually, Sarah, I don't know if you remember, Sarah was a client of ours and she just launched a line of organic skincare products,
Yeah.
hadn't she? She'd
Very
spent
nice.
months perfecting the formulas, sorting the packaging, building a website, and then launch day came and crickets, barely any orders. She was devastated. She was ready to just pack it all in, write it off as a total failure. But instead of blaming the market or thinking, maybe people just don't care about natural skincare, we helped her to zoom in. She asked then, what's in my control? Well, bottom line was her products were great, but her product descriptions, you remember, they read a bit like they were written for a GCSE science report, and she wouldn't mind me telling you this. There was zero emotion, zero story with it. So she rewrote everything. She focused on the benefits and told the story behind each product. The exact same products, clearer message. And within a month, she was struggling to keep up with the orders.
Yeah, she didn't wait for permission. She moved. That's what taking responsibility looks like in real life.
Yeah, it does. And next time something goes wrong in your life, don't spiral. Just stop and ask, what's still in my control?
Yeah. And you just pick one thing, your offer, your message, your next step, then act on it immediately.
Yeah,
No delays, get straight to it.
definitely, because motion changes mindset. And you don't need a big move, just a real one.
Yeah, and it's important to write it down. One thing you can do today that's 100% within your control, then you must go straight to it and do it.
Yeah.
Once you're back in motion, the next step isn't planning, it's experimenting. This is the key thing, is people try to formalize all this stuff, whereas really this is the bit we talked about getting messy. It's about experimenting, kids in Play-Doh and mucky things, paint and paint. That's what you need to be doing. The kids have got it right. What we need to do is get adults going out there and daring to experiment with painted handprints. And go straight to it. I think it's important, this messy bit about you don't need perfect plans. You need movement, forward movement. Now, I think it's Carol Dweck. She's a Stanford psychologist. She did a lot of work on this. And she was studying basically what makes people grow. Now, her big idea, it's not talent that drives success. It's how you respond when things don't work out.
Yeah.
She found the best learners don't wait for these perfect plans. They act straight away and they learn from that acting, and then they make little adjustments. And that's how I tend to work. I like to go for the messy and then look at what's worked, what's still standing, and then go with that. That one small action. And it builds, it's so important, this thing about momentum. And momentum just clears all that fog. Yeah. Whereas if you sit in it, it's around you. You don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Carol Dweck, she calls it it's growth mindset, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The idea is simple. Act, get feedback, adjust. That loop creates real progress then.
Yeah, and I try to live by this. When something's unclear, I don't overthink it. I test it. That's quite a brave strategy for people who are
very much so.
Yeah, if you're not used to that, you feel like you're outside your comfort zone most of the time. But it's one tweak at a time.
Yeah, just small bits.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to keep moving.
Yeah, and we've seen how fast momentum builds from that. You remember Emma, the client that I mentioned with the online courses?
Yes.
So her first launch flopped, nothing landed, but she didn't freeze.
Yeah, that's important, is freezing, it's going to get you nowhere. Yeah, because she sat down and focused and asked, what can I change right now? She clarified the message, simplified the offer, and relaunched.
Yeah.
And that's all she needed to do, because then it landed.
Yeah, same product, different approach. One experiment changed everything.
Yeah, and that's the power of movement, because all those opportunities are going to present themselves to you. It clears the fog. So if you're stuck, don't wait for the answer. Test your way forward.
Yeah, if you're stuck waiting for the perfect next step, try this instead. Run a micro experiment, one idea. one tweak, post a different headline or try a new format or change a sentence in it. Just something really small.
Yeah, and what's important is watch what happens.
Yeah.
Don't make judgment calls, just learn. And that feedback turns into your goals. Write this down. What's one small test I can run today? And then do it. Then adjust based on what you see. If you found this video useful or even just interesting, subscribe to see the next installment of the Neuroscience of Resilience, which is out soon. Thanks for watching.